On Alice, Linda Lavin was America's favorite waitress for 9 years. She did something unexpected when filming the show's last episode. Refused to attend. Network panicked. Linda didn't care. She was fed up. She was tired of being bullied and battling for equal pay. Her shocking departure is ultimately revealed. The shock is more than expected. In a musical Portland home, Linda Lavin's story began. Her mother, an opera singer, quit a promising career to raise a family but never stopped singing. They always had music at home. Linda performed in local shows at 5. She sang God Bless America in her cot, according to family stories. Before she could speak clearly. That early spark lasted. She studied dancing at a local school, played piano, and sang harmonies with her mother and sister. Performing in a pink outfit at a New York bar mitzvah at 12, she sang for hundreds. That was her first professional performance outside her hometown, and it seemed like the start of something larger. Her mother's help was vital. Lucille Lavin understood abandoning dreams. And she worked hard to help Linda follow hers. Every week, Linda watched her mother perform on live radio from the sound booth. They sang while completing chores at home. Her mom signed her up for piano lessons with a reputable local teacher and pushed her to entertain. Linda later associated attention with love. On stage, attention was constant. After high school, she studied theater at William and Mary, but it wasn't easy. One lecturer informed her she wasn't professional enough. That broke her. She almost quit up, fearing she'd made a mistake. She won a main role in a college production in summer 1958. Her performance altered everything. She earned an actor's equity card before graduation, surprising her professor. That moment made her trust herself when others didn't. Her next big move came to Chicago with the Compass Players, a famed improv group that launched Mike Nichols and Elaine May's careers. Being in that circle improved her timing, wit, and quick thinking. Artistic boot camp. She took in everyone pushing limits and trying new entertainment methods. Working with creative people changed her outlook and shaped her performance style. In 1962, she debuted on Broadway in A Family Affair. The show failed after 65 performances, despite its potential. The production had many issues, and Linda's performance was noticed, but it collapsed quickly. Still, director Hal Prince noticed her. That link mattered later. The ensuing years were hard. While applying for New York jobs, she worked in department stores and did temp work. Her breakthrough film was 1960's Say XS It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. Her character had 2 stage-stealing songs. Critics adored her. One claimed they wanted her in every musical. That one role changed everything. She wasn't simply another struggling actor anymore. She arrived. She sang the smart song The Boy from an off-Broadway revue that year. Stephen Sondheim wrote it under a pseudonym as a hidden gem. Linda delivered every beat of the lyrics' subtle humor and tongue-twisting place names. She sung the cult hit again for Sondheim's 90th birthday decades later. That moment proved her brilliance was everlasting. She proved herself again in 1969. Dramatic role. She portrayed Patsy in Jules Feiffer's dark comedy Little Murders, which demanded emotional depth and serious acting. Her Drama Desk award-winning performance was a departure from her cheery musicals. She amazed critics with her precision and control. Her performance opened doors and showed she wasn't merely funny. She was versatile. She first collaborated with Neil Simon that year. Her Tony nomination came from Last of the Red Hot Lovers, where she played a daring, humorous character. Critics praised her performance as unforgettable. That play began a long association with Simon that would lead to numerous prizes in some of her most memorable roles. Success was not without hurdles. Linda kept getting the same roles in the 1970s. The wisecracking, gold-hearted New Yorker. She could play that part in her sleep, but she wasn't interested. Much more had she trained for. She wanted people to see her whole self, not just her amusing side. She tried auditioning for dramatic roles, but casting agencies said she was too humorous. Her frustration led her to leave Broadway. Shakespeare in the Park gave her the chance to use her classical background in the Comedy of Mistakes in 1975. That return to drama reminded her and everyone else of her talent. Ironically, comedy brought her back to fame. Taking the lead in the 1976 sitcom Alice made her famous. When CBS picked it up, she had a choice. try a fresh lead or stick with Barney Miller. She never returned to Barney Miller. The character left the show, but Linda got her big break. Alice was a household name after 9 seasons. That achievement wasn't accidental. Alan Shane, Warner Brothers television president, risked it for her. Some producers disputed the show's success or Linda's suitability. Shane was sharp-eyed. This was the same guy who promoted Barbara Feldon in Get Smart and Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. His prediction that Linda could carry a series was correct. The show resonated. Alice's grit, comedy, and compassion won over viewers. Shane's call changed everything. 2 episodes into Alice, the show did something unexpected. It addressed homosexuality in 1976, when other sitcoms avoided it. Alice dates a handsome football guy who turns out to be gay. Her reply is awkward, confused, and subtle prejudice. Linda later claimed that society takes a century to figure out what her character understood in 1 episode. Linda Lavin had a struggle on her hands when she joined Alice in 1976. Despite the show being inspired by an Oscar-winning picture, the studio paid her shockingly less than male stars. Alice was still underpaid in 1979, even though she was one of CBS's biggest hits. Linda didn't stay silent. With proof that the program was successful, she vowed to leave. Her brave decision changed more than her contract. It enabled other TV women to demand equitable compensation and creative autonomy. Her desire to do more than perform remained. Linda, who had directed plays, pushed hard to direct Alice episodes. Although the studio doubted her. They cautioned her inexperience could cause delays, but she didn't let that stop her. Finally, in 1980, she directed her debut episode. A success. She discreetly defeated her critics by directing 10 episodes. Her episodes were heartfelt and showcased her female co-stars. Later, this behind-the-scenes achievement earned her a Daytime Emmy nod for a TV movie. Another quiet win for her tenacity on Alice. Linda kept pushing her creativity. She pitched a new character after the writing team ran out of steam in the 7th season. A grouchy, mysterious landlady with a weird accent and excessive makeup is Debbie Walden. Viewers barely recognized Linda. She did that to keep the show fresh and it works. Although she barely appeared in a few episodes, fans loved her. More importantly, it offered Linda the creative stretch she needed, unlike Alice Hyatt. She received deeper, more serious roles later in her career, notably on stage. Linda valued the truth most. She didn't want Alice to be another dumb sitcom. She wanted meaning. She encouraged writers to be honest, especially about single motherhood, off camera. She campaigned for episodes that showed Alice nervous about money, double shifts, childcare, or dating again. She wanted viewers at home to feel seen. That push produced some of the show's best episodes. By the series' end, Alice had left the cafe to pursue her singing career in Nashville. This conclusion felt honest and earned because Linda ensured it. In the late 1970s, she won 2 Golden Globes for her part. Critics adored her. The audience adored her. The sitcom spent 8 seasons in the top 30. She never received the same Emmy recognition. One 1979 nomination. And forgotten by the Academy. One of those situations that raised industry eyebrows. How could someone head a great program for nearly a decade, win Golden Globes, yet be overlooked? Linda didn't let it define her. She finally got her due on stage, winning a Tony and receiving more nominations. Linda Lavin returned to Broadway unexpectedly after 10 years. In 1987, she appeared in Broadway Bound, a Neil Simon drama that altered her image. Simon wrote her character a lengthy emotional monologue. 16 pages of painful recollections, lost dreams, and intricate family ties. Lavin initially thought it scary and uninteresting, but she worked with Simon for months to polish every pause and syllable until it felt real. Critics hailed her performance unforgettable. The Tony Award brought her back to Broadway as a genuine actor, not merely a TV celebrity. A few years later, she took another major gamble. Mama Rose in Gypsy was a part portrayed by legends before her. But Lavin did it differently. She played Rose less aggressively. Instead, she made her sensual, engaging, and fun. She believed Rose must be liked. Why would anyone stay with her? Lavin practiced by walking around Central Park daily and listening to the music. Her passion was evident, but a note from June Havoc, the true daughter of Mama Rose, meant more than any evaluation. Havoc commented with a photo of her mother that Rose was petite, sexy, and charming, just how Lavin had portrayed her. That little note said more than any medal. Not every role was her dream. Lavin led Kiss of the Spider-Woman, a splashy Broadway musical, in 1992. She was sacked after 3 weeks despite learning all the songs and movements. The script worried her, therefore she demanded revisions. Harold Prince, the director, advised her to consider other options if she wasn't happy. Chita Rivera replaced her the next day. Lavin complained, but it was too late. Rivera received honors for the part, but Lavin never returned to that program. She later stated creative differences were normal, but being fired was disrespectful. Years later, people still murmured about what may have been if Lavin stayed. What happened in 1995 became Broadway folklore. Lavin performed in death-defying acts, 3 short plays. One preview showed her collapse in the middle of her scene. The curtain fell. Panic ensued. She needed rest, doctors said. Tired and dehydrated, she was. Within 4 hours, she was back on stage, acting as if nothing had occurred. She never used the nearby chair, but it was there. That night sealed her reputation. She was talented and unstoppable. Her performance earned her prizes, but her grit stood out. He'd never seen anything like that in his theater career, remarked one director. The same year, Woody Allen called. He had never worked with her before, but after seeing Broadway Bound, he wanted her in his new play, Central Park West. He even rewrote parts to match her voice and rhythm. He sat silently and gave her custom lines throughout rehearsals. They were creatively compatible. Audiences appreciated the play so much that it ran longer than planned. Critics noted that Lavin made an old Woody Allen song sound contemporary when she performed it for a Stephen Sondheim homage 54 years later. Linda Lavin never did what was expected. She staged Shakespeare's As You Like It in Wilmington, North Carolina, in the late 1990s. She threw in Brazilian jazz. Not simply background music. She incorporated real musicians, samba and bossa nova dancing, and tropical attire for the actors. Whole play became fresh and vibrant. This risky move garnered attention. It showed she was risk-taking and believed Shakespeare wasn't ancient or dull. It could dance, but Linda continued. With her third husband, Steve Bakunas, she opened the Red Barn Studio Theater in Wilmington in 2007. A garage once stood there. They made it a cozy 50-seater, where the most dramatic modern plays were performed. They aired Doubt, Glengarry Glen Ross, and Rabbit Hole. Tickets regularly sold out. They staged Linda's Broadway play The Tale of the Allergist's Wife. The Red Barn was more than a theater. It was a love project. They repaired surrounding properties, provided a small park, and worked to improve the area. Not just locked the doors when they moved to New York in 2012. The local group received the theater rent-free for 4 additional years. All along, Linda was instructing. Her master courses were not for praise. She emphasized reality and passion. While her students performed, she sat with them. She found singing on stage intimidating and lovely. She advised pupils to face their anxieties and act on them. No one was overwhelmed by her. She delivered guidance in bite-sized portions. Her guidance boosted young actors. Many credited her with finding their voice. There's no proof, but she mentored Kerry Washington. Kerry trained at the Susan Batson Studio in New York, therefore Linda. Linda's honest, emotive, and incisive attitude would have worked for any actor attempting to break into theater and television. She guided them through that leap. She had a hallmark move in class. She assigned impossible monologues. These lengthy, impassioned speeches challenged pupils thoroughly. She enjoyed using Broadway Bound, her Tony-winning play. Linda thought you were ready if you could take the scathing speeches full of emotional upheavals and inner agony. Her students usually felt like they'd grown after working with her, even through difficult musical numbers. Linda's personal life was intense behind the scenes. First marriage to actor Ron Leibman began in 1969. Theater was their emphasis for a while. When Linda became the lead on Alice in 1976, her career took off. This show made her famous. Ron specialized on theater and film. Their lives diverged. In 1975, they split. Ron appeared in Norma Rae in 1981 when they divorced. Her second marriage to Kip Niven proved worse. They married in 1982 after meeting on Alice, but things went south before the end of the decade. The divorce lasted years. Kip claimed Linda owed him $6 million despite his small contributions. He cheated, wasted her money, and allegedly abused her emotionally. The judge gave him $675,000. Finding her voice in court was painful but liberating, Linda said. Her third and last marriage differed. Steve Bakunas was approximately 20 years younger, so their bond was puzzling. Steve played the lead in a local theatrical performance in 1999, where they met. People joked about favoritism. But their chemistry was real. Tied the knot on Valentine's Day 2005. Often joked that she was lucky to get her hair done that day. Their love was imaginative and personal. They managed the Red Barn, helped with local programs, and contributed park property. Linda told Steve, "If I die, I want you to know I love you," in her final moments. Despite her accomplishments, Linda suffered a financial setback she never anticipated. She lost money in Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, like thousands. Her Madoff-connected investment managers were trusted. The 2008 fraud collapse caused massive devastation. Gone were billions. Linda recovered little of what she lost. She was 70 and should have enjoyed retirement. So she had to pick up the pieces. She kept her troubles quiet. She and Steve sold their Wilmington house and moved to New York secretly in 2012. It appeared professional, but they downsized drastically. They bought 2 little Manhattan flats instead of a big house. Linda returned to TV to work. She appears on Sean Saves the World, 9JKL, Santa Clarita Diet, and Be Positive. The Red Barn studio was loaned to the local theatrical community for free before being sold and transformed into an axe-throwing bar. Linda Lavin's 1998 return to NBC as Conrad Bloom's wacky mother was expected to be a big deal. Behind the scenes, things swiftly went awry. She disagreed with the show's creator from the outset. She wanted more jokes and attention. And more character control. She talked about it. Scenes were repeatedly rewritten. One episode required 17 iterations to appease her. She walked off the set after an argument over her character's motivation. This delayed it 4 hours. NBC aired 9 episodes before canceling. Unexpectedly, she reunited with her Conrad Bloom co-star on another show nearly 2 decades later, but without the drama. In 2013, Will and Grace star Sean Hayes invited Lavin to play his mom in his new sitcom, Sean Saves the World. No process, no audition. He desired her. Each had done Broadway and acknowledged the other's talent. NBC wasn't sure about casting an older person, but Hayes pushed. Lavin became one of primetime's oldest leads at 75. Her chemistry with Hayes was perfect. Unfortunately, the show ended. The show was discontinued after 15 episodes due to low ratings. Still, her humor and timing were memorable. Lavin kept going. She took a break from comedy in 2014 to portray a harsh judge on The Good Wife. Not just winging it. To succeed, she watched professional judges for weeks. Her performance was notable. Critics adored her. Some thought she deserved an Emmy, but she was passed up. But she proved she could handle drama as well as humor. She joined Be Positive in 2020 at 83 and still stole scenes. Her character Norma, a boisterous and loving retirement home resident, was popular. Experienced actors formed a family-like cast. The Golden Gang met weekly at Lavin's for brunch. That link appeared. A minor part grew in season 2. Lavin subsequently remarked the persona, full of comedy, dignity, and heart, was the right way to end her career. However, her audience was not limited to TV. She appeared on Netflix's Santa Clarita Diet in 2019, exposing her to a new generation as a zombie grandmother. It was odd, amusing, and wonderful for her. She was unafraid to experiment. Fans were upset when the event was abruptly terminated, especially since Lavin's brief appearance had such an impact. Lavin kept performing during the COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. She started weekly Facebook concerts from home. Her pianist lived downstairs. So they played music every Wednesday 6 feet apart. Thousands watched. In addition to her YouTube comedic routines, she released a jazz album called Love Notes. She felt it kept her linked to her craft and audience. In Mid-Century Modern, she played Nathan Lane's mother, her last performance. The show was made for her. She gave it her all. She shaped the character, advised the writers, and advocated for older women's portrayal. Everyone on set felt her intensity. She set the tone. She verified it. The last twist followed. Lavin was diagnosed with fatal lung cancer in late 2024. She didn't retreat like most. She wanted producers to include her real-life ailment in the story. She wanted her character to perish as expected. Indeed, that happened. In one of the final episodes, her character dies in a car on the way to the hospital. It replicated Lavin's dying moments, including her final remarks to her husband. "If I die, I adore you." The cast was grieving while they recorded that episode. Nathan Lane subsequently said they were barely keeping it together but had to finish her job. Her genuine goodbye followed. The episode ends with the characters singing "We'll meet again" following the sad scene. But then her voice takes over. A pandemic-era Facebook video of Lavin singing the song alone in her flat. Not a great recording. It was honest and heartfelt. That moment, her voice singing the last lines. It was excellent for her farewell performance. She left as she lived, honest, brave, and unforgettable.